Hey, everybody. I'm Josh Olive with Haven Comics. You are here for Shop Talk on Thursday night because, well, that's what we do on Thursday nights. Personally, I think that's pretty awesome, and I'm looking forward to talking some comics with you guys. So we'll see you on the other side of this amazing opening video that our good pal over at Two Brothers Comics, Nick Ellis, threw together for us. Hope everybody is having a great night. We are looking forward to talking some comics because I know Alan's got a big old stack to talk about, and we got some previews of upcoming indie books that we want to talk about. So, without further ado, the one, the only, the magnificent Alan Breathe. What's happening? And that is a lot of clapping to be coming from James, man. Good job, James. Look at that. Oh, James is awesome. He's on board. He's got it down.
What is going on?
Man, I feel like a Persian rug that has been on the floor a long time and just got taken out for spring cleaning.
That's pretty rough.
Past 2 days, I've been busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest.
Lord have mercy. Honestly, I've had about an average week. So, I mean, I'm a little bit confused, a little bit scared. It makes me worried about next week. But I tell you one thing I have been enjoying, and that is these temperatures dropping.
Preach. Lord
I
have
have
mercy.
loved every minute of that. And I looked, and we're not supposed to get above 75 pretty much from here on out from the looks of it.
Hope that's true because I am not built for hot temperatures. This body is built for a long, cold winter. I generate warmth and heat, and it is a good thing. So, what's happening with you, sir?
Well, you had talked about a stack of comics, and I really did not have a big, massive stack, but I did bring a couple from last week that we didn't get a chance to talk about that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Before we do that, I have a quick thing.
All right, what you got?
Last week, as you guys know, we had on Jeff Johnson, a comic book artist, movie, animation artist, all this stuff. Great human being, awesome dude, and we talked about his book he's working on with James Robinson called Rogue's Kingdom, and that book went live on what you call it on Kickstarter last Thursday. This book went live on Kickstarter last Thursday, and it funded in 5 days.
Really?
Fully funded in 5 days.
That is awesome.
You want to know something really, really cool?
He
didn't tell us about this. He didn't tell us that he was going to do this. But he put up some of his original art, not the finished stuff, but some rough stuff, right? Just the rough outs as add-ons that you could get. And I got the rough out page for this.
Nice.
Guess what? It's going to be mine. That is mine.
That is a good looking picture right there, in all honesty.
It's fantabulous. Are you kidding? I'm so excited about that I could pee. That is going to be mine. The original for that is going to be mine.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that book. I mean, the more that I look at it online, the more I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Right?
I'm especially looking forward to issue 3 of that one, but we won't talk about that tonight.
No. I will say, and I will absolutely make this guarantee, anybody who gets on board with this book, with Rogue's Kingdom, again, by James Robinson and Jeff Johnson, get on board with that book. you will absolutely 100% positively get your money's worth out of everything when you get issue number 3.
Yep. It will be the moment that comic book fans have waited for that they didn't know they needed.
And they definitely needed it. I can think of 2 comic book fans right now off the top of my head who desperately needed it.
I can actually think of 2 myself, but I'm wondering if my 2 are the same as your 2.
I have no idea. We haven't compared notes.
I'm going to say Tots definitely needs it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and Nick Ellis is going to be my second.
Yeah, I was thinking this guy and that guy.
Well, then let's say 4. 4 people definitely need that book.
Because there's zero chance you and I will not get it.
Oh yeah, there's zero chance that I will not be getting that one.
And as Alan has said before, we will be happy to deface your comics with our signatures if that's what you want.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'm not going to stop until one day I'm in an issue of Radiant Black, standing on the corner, drinking coffee in gray sweatpants and a gray T-shirt that says Radiant Gray on it.
That's fair.
Yep, not going to stop till that happens.
That's fair. I think that's completely fair. That's pretty fair. So if you want to know what all the mystery is about and why you need to get on board with this series, let's just say you need to be on there. Good call, Jay. I will say we backed it. The store backed it at the Kickstarter level or at the retailer level. So you can get it through Haven if you want to do that. But I will not ever tell you don't support the creator on your own. So if that's the way you want to go, you should absolutely do that. Jeff Johnson is a phenomenal human being and a great artist, and I want to support him any way we can.
Yeah, super nice guy. I really, really, really enjoyed talking to him the other night. And I'm going to go ahead and post that link in the chat for the Kickstart. Just because it's fully funded does not mean that it is not too late. I mean, you can still jump on it.
I mean, it's still got 20, at this point, 20 or 19 more days? No.
23 days
23 more days. It's got 23 more days.
Yep.
That it's running, and it is not too late. And they could add stretch goals and all kinds of things. So goodness only knows what all it's going to end up at.
While we're talking about it, let's just do this right here for those who have not seen it or did not see the slides.
Yeah.
We will just go here and do this and show y'all what the Kickstarter is looking like. Let me get that off the screen.
You can probably play video.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. Oh, that just looks awesome.
That's just so cool. All right, go back and play the very beginning of that video again.
Given the fact that he's worked on an animated project or two,
or 200,
or 200, yeah, that should be something in consideration right there.
That right there, the nighttime to morning time with the cityscape.
Yeah,
it's so cool. It's so cool. And guess who's going to own that original rough art for that?
You know what? I wouldn't mind, and I'm just going to kind of scroll so everybody can see some of the art and what it's going to look like. But I would not mind owning this one right here, which is just the black and white version of this one. I think that's
Yeah, that's
cool.
the fold the wraparound cover there. Yeah,
But you know, for some reason, out of everything that he showed us and checking it all out,
this picture
that is
right here
still that is my favorite one out of all of them.
that grabs your imagination fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. The and the black and white version of this is, I mean, just absolutely stunning. Hey, what's up, Kyle? We are talking about Rogue's Kingdom, which is a new Kickstart on by Jeff Johnson that they just
And
got
James
started.
Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get it all out here in a second. I've been struggling tonight with names. I really have been. But yeah, I mean, it just and I cannot. What was his name?
Rondo.
Yeah, Rondo. Rondo to me looks like that Earl Flynn swashbuckling hero.
Absolutely.
And I love that look. I mean, that is just a great look and some beautiful art.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. Jeff Johnson sent a look ahead, unfinished copy of the first issue to me and Alan, and I'm excited for this book.
Yep.
But one of the things I really, really, really enjoyed, and I kind of enjoy it, especially because I read it first before I read the comic itself, is there's a little story, a little prose story in the back
Yeah.
by James Robinson, which is just hysterical. There it is. That's just a little taste of it.
Yep.
It's just hysterical, that whole story. But then I read the comic and I saw where this guy appears in the comic, and
Yep.
that cracked me up. Um, really, really good stuff.
And then I mean the issue 2 preview. I mean, literally that right there with the tiger's head, human's body, that just looks amazing.
Yep. Yep. He's got some incredible stuff. And issue number 3, 100% guaranteed, is going to be the bomb.
Mm-hmm. See, I love that. That to me, that right there would make an amazing poster.
Absolutely, it would.
I mean,
Absolutely, it would.
that is a poster that I would frame and put on my wall.
It's fantabulous. What is not to love?
Yeah.
Somebody tell me. I don't know.
And
But yep.
if y'all are curious, you can always go back and watch last week's episode of Shop Talk where we had Jeff Johnson on. I mean, a great, really, really, really great guy to talk to. A lot of honestly what I thought was fascinating information about page layout and
I won't look at comic books the same way again.
yeah, no, the way he described it and how some of the action is actually happening in between the panels. I just thought that, I mean, that was just, I could have listened.
Mind blowing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I could have listened to him talk about that for hours.
Like how you take, here's what happened in panel A, here's what happened in panel B. We all innately have some sense that some amount of time passes between those two panels, and some amount of action happens between those two panels, and we visualize that by just as our brain fills that in because we have these two data points, and then our brain fills in the rest. And I never would have considered that in a million years, but the way that he talked about that and how to use that to your advantage as a comic book artist was really, really cool. And it's just a whole nother level of thinking. So yeah, after 40 something years of reading comics, I love discovering new things about the medium itself. And that's just awesome. That makes me happy.
Yeah, you could what am I doing? You could definitely tell that he has definitely taught people and brought them along because the way that he explained it was very, for lack of a better word, educational. It was very, hey, this is what you're actually looking at. This is the way it could be perceived. Blah 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 blah. And I loved that. I thought it was great.
Like,
We lost volume.
sorry.
Okay. Now there we go. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yep, I
Okay.
can hear you fine. That's weird.
Yeah, there for just a second I couldn't hear you. So
No great
yeah,
loss to the world.
he was definitely fun to talk to. And there was something I was gonna ask you, but I think it actually had to do it actually had to do with this book right here.
Well, let's get to it.
Let's do it. You know, we'll just go ahead and start with this book right here. We have Hunger and the Dusk, issue number 3. Have you read it yet?
I have flipped through it, but I have not had a chance to read it yet. It's been a
Okay,
busy couple of weeks.
okay, I can go spoiler free on this very easy.
It won't hurt
We
me. I'm
are
going to read it either way, so let's go for it.
okay. So we're definitely in. Cal is definitely in mourning for the loss that they suffered at the end of issue 2.
Yep.
I cannot think of the female orc's name that is with the group of humans. Yeah, she's depressed all over it because she feels like she could have done more. She feels like it was basically her job to save that person, and I am intentionally saying that person because I know that there's a couple of y'all that have messed up and not read it yet, so I don't want to ruin that aspect of it for you. Um,
And I will say this too, guys. We have got issue number 1. We did a big reorder to get issue number 1 and issue number 2 back in stock. You need to be reading The Hunger and the Dusk. It is really, really good. If you like
this
fantasy stuff at all, I mean, any kind of fantasy flavor, if you like it at all, this is a phenomenal book for you.
yes, this book, it's going to sound strange to people that don't really and truly read comics, but I know the people that do watch our show are hardcore and read a ton of comic books. This is one of those few books that it's it's like No One by Kyle Higgins in the aspect of when you're reading this book, you know that you are reading an epic adventure. It
Yep.
feels epic. I'm not sitting here saying to all the spec collectors go out and buy 10,000 copies of issue 1. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that this right here, it's got the big book feel. It's got the epic feel. You are getting a truly meat and potatoes story with this. And you're getting some really good art on top of that.
It is really good. It is very good. And I will say, the what little bit I got from as I got the time to flip through issue number 3, um, it carries through the same look, feel, vibe of issues 1 and 2. You can tell it's the same creator team pushing through the same quality product, telling the same story. Uh, and I will say this too as a caveat for anybody who's on the fence. When I looked at the solicits for that book before it came out, I was thinking, I'm not interested. It sounded dumb to me. It just sounded silly, and it sounded like, "Hi, I am, ubiquitous, traditional, generic, uh, pointless fantasy that does not need to exist." That's what I thought it was. I really, honest to goodness, thought that's what it was. So imagine my surprise when I picked it up and said, "Holy smokes!" That knocked my socks off. I went back and immediately ordered more.
Yeah, and
And I'm glad I did because we sold out of 1 and 2 already, and then I got more of them in stock. So we've got it. Come and get it. It's a great book.
yeah, and it was one of those where you had talked about it, and it was kind of like, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I mean, just in complete and total transparency, it was one of those that I was like, I'm gonna grab this book and read it, just so I'll have something to talk about, something different to talk about on the pull list for at least one episode, and something for us to talk about, that's different that we don't normally read on here, and just trying to keep keep the spark alive, so to speak, and absolutely fell in love with it.
You
I
didn't
mean,
want the honeymoon to be over?
yeah, I didn't want the honeymoon to be over. And in I'm glad you said it that way because in this particular issue, we can definitely see where we're headed, and there will be a honeymoon in the future between a human and an orc. Um,
Which
they
I know sounds weird. It's not in the context of this world. I mean, it's weird, but it's not horrible.
Yeah, it's not horrible. And basically, so that doesn't kind of like anybody go, oh no, it's one of those type books. I don't want to read that. What happens is Cal goes to the tent, and he's basically been sent to the female orc's tent to talk to her because she is a stranger in a strange land.
She's alone,
And
right?
this death has really bothered her because they just buried the person in the ground, and that's not her customs. She doesn't understand that. She's like, look, you just treated this person like, an animal. And where I come from, there's ceremonies, we sing songs, we read poetry. I mean, there, it's, and you actually see an orc funeral in this, which was kind of cool. And he's having to talk to her about that. Well, throughout the course of the conversation, and everybody's fully clothed. He just kind of, kicks back on the mat like this that's in the tent, and they fall asleep talking. Well, when they wake up the next morning, her head is right here, and you're just kind of like, okay, we knew we're headed in this direction. And you actually, believe it or not, by issue 3, you're rooting for this relationship to develop.
Yep.
You really
Yep.
are. Very smartly written. Is this, and what I was going to ask you about it, is this ongoing or is it a maxi series?
It was solicited as ongoing, so I hope that it is. I kind of get the feeling it's one of those books that should be like an extended maxi series. It should have a solid beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
But it's kind of told on an epic scale. I think it needs to be more than 6 issues or 12, maybe 18 or 20. I don't know. But I think that would be really good for this series. And then, the world is pretty big there. They could tell a variety of stories within that world, and it would be great to read.
There's even a sub story that they could go back in time. And when you read this, you'll really understand what I'm talking about. They figure out how the Vangal are traveling without being caught and how they're
that's
able.
good. I didn't see that in my flip through, so I'm looking forward to catching that.
Yeah, they tell how that happened. And I don't want to ruin that for you because it was kind of a cool reveal, I thought.
For
But
anybody who's wondering, traditionally in these books, humans are the good guys, orcs are the bad guys, and that's it. In this world, there's humans and there are orcs, and they traditionally fight each other. And the orcs have all these different tribes, and they have infighting and stuff. But there is a horrible race of people, they're not people necessarily, creatures, whatever they are, that are so vile and so horrible and so deadly that the orcs and the humans have to team up to survive.
Yep.
And that vile, despicable, dangerous, deadly species are called the Vangal, which is a pretty cool name, and they look pretty wicked.
Yeah, they really do. Actually, let's see. It's kind of a shadow of them, but that's what they look like right there. But when they describe what they're using to travel by and where it actually came from, the first thing that you're going to think is, well, that's kind of a cool backstory. I wish they would elaborate on that some. So, I mean, it's just really good read. I mean, definitely pick it up. I know that I think Tots was one of the first people that jumped on board after we started talking about it. And I have not heard him complain about it yet.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's had nothing but to say about it.
And he texts us when he has complaints.
I love our group chat.
Those group chats are hysterical.
Our group chats go from I made cookies with Munchkin to this book absolutely sucked in about 2.3 seconds.
Yeah, and then it pivots over to why chocolate Frosties are the only acceptable version of a Frosty.
Yeah. But deep down inside, sometimes you just want that vanilla Frosty.
I do not ever.
Dude, I love vanilla Frosties. I think they're great.
I don't think they should exist.
Oh. Did you ever try the strawberry one?
Okay, that one was good.
Next on the list, we have
You got me.
Wesley Dodds Sandman. And this one was another one. Is this a mini, a maxi, or
That's a mini.
ongoing?
Yeah, that's a
That's a
mini.
mini.
They're doing
Okay.
4 different ones of these Golden Age superhero return kind of books, and they're all 4-issue minis.
Yeah, and in the back of this one, you get the Jay Garrick,
Yes.
kind of like a preview for that.
Yep.
And for those of y'all that have never, and the reason why I picked this up is because I fell in love with Zombie Sandman from Night Terrors.
I
I
thought he
thought
was the best thing about Night Terrors,
Zombie
hands down, bar
Sandman,
none.
yes, him and Deadman need to have a team up mini series or something.
I would be
Um,
interested in reading that.
but if you look, that is just a cool looking character. Well, didn't know a ton about him, picked it up and everything, and the book basically takes place in the 40s, and
Yep.
he's kind of not Bruce Wayne money, but he's definitely comes from money. And he is a scientist and everything. He actually develops a new type of non-lethal gas for the military to use, and they shoot it down quick, fast, and in a hurry. And they tell you why they shoot this idea down, and unfortunately, it made sense. But in this issue, he's kind of, it's not action packed. We do have some action moments. He does kind of coming to terms. He feels like he failed because he could not sell this gas to the military. He's already Sandman. He's been Sandman for a while. Wesley Dodd has. But as he's leaving this party, his girlfriend or fiance, whatever she is like, hey, we're going to go check out this party. It'll take your mind off of stuff, blah, blah, blah. As he's leaving the party, he needs some, they always need some fresh air when they're brooding. And he gets his gear out of the trunk of the car. His butler's just like, he's like, hey, make sure she gets home, blah, blah, blah. He hops, there's a fire truck that goes past him. He hops on the back of the fire truck and, just going to wherever this fire is, I guess just kind of to have something to do to take his mind off of his failures, what he feels like. And when he gets to the other end, it's his house that's on fire. And he's basically, yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't laugh, but I have to share a story, right?
Okay.
Years and years and years and years ago, or this is in the mid 90s, I worked at a comic shop in Decatur. And we had a guy that came in there. He was a character. Sometimes he was funny, and sometimes you just wanted to strangle him with his own intestines, right? Um, but he had his car in the shop, and he had one of our guys give him a ride over to pick his car up. Well, they pull up to the garage, and there's just smoke pouring out from the back, and he starts laughing. He's like, somebody's car's on fire. Somebody's car's burning up. Oh, that's my car. All I can picture is, oh, what's my house?
That, you shouldn't laugh, but you can't help it. It's one of those situations.
I'm so tickled right now because I have these flashbacks. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's my car.
I am going to be honest.
Lance Bradley, wherever you are, I hope your car's not on fire, buddy.
If they haven't got it put out by now, there's some issues going on with it. This is not one of those spectacular, phenomenal, oh my God, first issues. Just to be honest with y'all, it's not. But it's some really good art. It's a good story, and there's definitely enough there to make you want to pick up issue 2. It does. It gives you the cliffhanger ending that you need. Nick, you need to hang out for a little while because I got a comic book in here that you and I need to argue if it's actually manga or not.
That's a question.
Yeah, that's the big question. But yeah, Wesley Dodds Sandman, it was an interesting read. I enjoyed reading it because I enjoyed learning more about the character himself. So I thought that was really cool. Next up, and I cover this in depth on the pull list tomorrow, and we can go in depth if you want to tonight on it, because this absolutely blew me away. And I am thoroughly prepared to die on the hill that I'm about to stake my claim on. J. Michael Straczynski, The Madness, is very possibly some of the best writing he has ever done.
I agree.
Have you read this issue
I
yet?
have. Yes.
The whole part, and if you want a snippet of it, watch tomorrow's episode of the pull list, because I read the entire page to prove my point. But when she has that hero in the chair tied up, and he's talking about, he realizes that everyone's guilty on some level.
Yep.
And he's giving his little speech, and then she asks him, what are you guilty of? And his response is understanding too much.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I almost threw this comic book across the room. It was so good. I was like, I didn't even want to touch it anymore. I was like, my God, that entire page from top to bottom, absolutely brilliant writing.
Yeah, it's it is a phenomenal book.
And then you go from that to her basically apologizing to three urns because she doesn't even know whose ashes are whose ashes. That was actually pitiful.
That was heartbreaking.
And then she takes the ashes to where they first met. I was like, my God, JMS he's outdone himself with this one. I mean, just absolutely phenomenal.
This is one of those series that I find myself, the minute I put down an issue, I want the next one in my hand, and I'm mad that I don't have it.
Yep.
AWA, Axel Alonso, Dan Panosian, Mike Deodato Jr., J. Michael Straczynski. We would like for you to come on this show and defend yourselves for putting out these good comics. We'll make like a wrestling video. We calling you out.
I know that a lot, and I get it. I understand it. There's a lot of people that don't like independent comic books. I can understand why, because
it's like saying I only like movies that come from Paramount and Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but the thing is, Marvel and DC play it safe, and people are comfortable with Marvel and DC. And with independent comics, you're basically pulling people out of their comfort zone. And that's what I like about independent comics, is they're so free to do whatever they want to do. But if you really get down to the core of it, take the superpowers out of it, take, just paranormal superpowers, whatever this actually ends up being that's inside of her.
It's freaky is what it is.
Honestly, with what she's gone through, is it anything that one of us would not have done for our revenge?
Nope. And that's what makes it both so horrifying and so
satisfying.
So satisfying, but also what makes his words so poignant.
Yes, I mean, just dude, like I said, I was blown away by that one page, just that one page, and then the progression of this particular issue. From, we get a little bit of a backstory or a little bit of a story on this quote unquote hero. We find out what's going on with him. I love the fact that she even calls it out and says, hey, you do realize they set you up. They're watching through cameras. They're trying to figure out what's going to happen to them based on how bad it's going to be on you.
Yep.
And then I think one of the things that really blew me away about that whole scene was, yes, you do see her, but you kind of see her in shadow, and she almost has like this dignified and refined look about her.
Uh-huh.
And it's almost like, and it may have been exactly what she was holding, but at one point it kind of looks like there's rosary beads. And it's almost like she's accepting his confession just before she puts him out of his misery.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at it that way, but you're exactly right. And I want to go back and look at it again. And I want to do another thing, uh, like we talked about earlier, based on the discussion with Jeff Johnson last week. This is a prime issue to go back and look at this
Yep.
from that perspective and see what's happening between the panels. This is a perfect issue for that because there are definite time lapses between things that happen, some pretty significant, and I think this would be a primo issue to look at from that perspective.
So this is what I'm talking about right here. This is where he is basically saying everything, but if you look right here, you see the beads going across, and then it's like her hands are together in prayer. And it's like she's accepting his confession, and now we have her sitting over here talking to him.
That's the coolest thing.
It's literally it's set up like a confessional. It's almost like both pages are a confessional.
J. Michael Straczynski, I know you have absolutely zero need to do this on your side of things, but we're going to need you to come on this show and talk to us about this book. We can talk about a whole lot of other books of yours too. If I'm straight up honest, I haven't loved all of them. But we talk about that. We talk about Babylon 5. We talk about whatever you want. But this is a book I would love to talk to you about.
Look, I'm sitting here reading all over
please
again.
Please tell him that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have him on here to talk about this. It's just, y'all would have to read it. This book, you know, it's like we talked about Hunger in the Dusk, it's epic. You can feel it being an epic story. This right here, I don't even know how to describe this. It is so good. I mean, this is an experience. I mean, this book right here, his writing and what he's done with it is truly an experience. And yes, I saw the look on your face after Nick's comment.
I was honest and upfront when I said I haven't loved all of it.
Yep. Next up on my list, and the only reason why I started reading this was actually because Bill Fisher was wanting to know my thoughts on it. And I've really enjoyed the 2 issues they've put out so far. So we've got Dawn of DC, Batman and Robin, issue number 2. If y'all think that Damian Wayne is a little jerk, wait till you see him go back to high school. Somebody steals his notebook and it don't work out too well for him. But this particular issue, we do have the introduction of, get this, her name is Shush. So she's kind of being, it's almost like they're coming across as they're billing it as the female version of Hush.
And her little sister.
Yeah, and then her little sister. But I could be wrong. You're going to figure out who Shush is pretty quick. It's fun. It's a Batman and Robin book. I've enjoyed this a lot more than what I thought I would. And it's only the second issue.
Damian Wayne book.
Honestly, between Gotham War and this, Damian Wayne is kind of winning me over some.
Growing on like a fungus?
Yeah, and I think it's because of his loyalty to his father. And yeah, Damian doesn't realize that he's only a child. And that, I think that's part of the problem with the character, is we see him as a child and he does not see himself as a child. But he's starting to grow on me some, especially after the high school scene. He doesn't even make it the first period before he skips. I mean, how great was that? And okay, Nick, this is where we can argue if this is actually manga or not. This is Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac Time Odyssey, issue number 1 by Blaze.
Like manga.
Yeah, by Blaze Publishing. It literally, so I really and truly cannot do an honest review on this. And here's the reason why. I read it. I enjoyed it. I understood.
You read it backwards?
No, that's just it. You don't read it backwards. You read it like a normal comic book, except the art is definitely anime manga style art. It's just in color. And I know that over the years, Blaze has taken a lot of manga and turned it into comic books like this. Let me pull my finger down. But there is a story that apparently
left to right, Nick.
Yeah, it's left to right. There is a story that happened before this, and they do a brief recap, but then you jump right into it. So I feel like I need to read that other story to get to know these characters better. It was fun, and I definitely want to read more. There's your Voltron-esque picture.
Sure is.
So, but I mean, yeah, it's I see. No, Nick, I have not checked that out yet. I do need to check that out. It was literally one of those that I saw the solicitations for it, and I thought, hey, that looks kind of cool. I want to check that out because I do like that style art. And you do, in the back of it, you actually get some variations on their armor. I mean, it's a cool story. It's a cool premise, but I'm going to have to track down the first story so I can get to know the characters. I
was like, oh, I say, rather. I'm got the top hat and I'm shaped like a peanut.
I think Tom Price, he knew about Saint Seiya when we were talking about it. He would probably be the person to ask, but I mean, it's nothing that, I mean, we can't Google right quick, and I might do that here a bit later.
Break out the Google foo.
Yep. Go confer with Dr. Google. Next up on my list, and actually last on my list, but I did bring 2 books from last week that we did not get to talk about. Moon Knight, City of the Dead, issue 4.
Oh, I haven't got to read that yet.
Have you haven't?
No.
Oh, it's rough. And rough in a good way.
Is it Damascus rough or what?
Scarlet Scarab is doing everything she can to get away with Khalil. We know that Khalil is basically the avatar of Ra.
Right.
We know who all the major players are, but Mark is trapped basically in the belly of Amet, the Devourer.
Right.
Except it's not like he's being digested. It's like he's going through all of his memories and he's remembering why he's unworthy and why he should never be considered a worthy human being until he gets down, and all the people that he's failed. And it goes through all of those memories until he gets down to who he feels like is the first person he ever failed. And it was very possibly one of the best callbacks in a comic book I've ever seen. It was the original Doctor from issue number 1.
No way.
Yes. And he basically...
that's excellent.
It was so good. And that Doctor's spirit basically comes to... And I'm not going to tell you what he says, because what he says, you're almost sitting there and you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. But Mark realizes that he is worthy because of all the tragedy that's come because of him. Because if it was not for that tragedy, if it was not for those people getting hurt, he never would have been able to save countless other people. And it, very, very well written. But the end of it, the way he gets away from Ahmet and the look on everybody's faces, yeah, you'll be pumping your fist in the air on that one. You're just going to be like, oh, yeah, I need issue 5 immediately.
I have some ideas on how that's going to be, so I'm excited to see that happen.
Yeah, just a great issue. At the end of it, the words vengeance of Moon Knight is not used, but it is blatantly stated that they will face the wrath of Moon Knight. I was just kind of like, oh, oh, this is about to get real. Yeah, he's not a happy camper. That was it for my current stuff, and we've kind of
there's a new Moon Knight, Vengeance of Moon Knight.
Yep.
This is in this month's solicits. Guys, y'all tell me that doesn't look awesome.
And you know who's writing it?
Jed MacKay is writing it, the same guy.
Yep.
But whoever this new Moon Knight is, I am very, very, very interested. Very interested. And I'm not a happy camper when you kill off one of my favorite characters. That does not make for Josh a happy camper. But Larry Hama has certainly proven that you can do that and get away with it if you are one heck of a writer. And I got to tell you guys, Jed MacKay on Moon Knight is writing the series of his life. It is phenomenal. Just absolutely mind-blowingly good, consistently good, with interesting twists and turns and character growth, character development. There's a lot going on. I'm really excited. So I'll see what he does. And I think with a character like Moon Knight specifically, who got his start by being resurrected in the first place, I don't think we've seen the end of Mark Spector, whether he dies or not. But holy smokes, am I excited for this?
Yeah, we're going to be getting to that one here in just a minute, Nick. The way Jed MacKay has set this up, he's already told us earlier, don't worry if Mark dies, because we can bring him back at any given moment. I'm really would love to see a nice arc with Harvest Moon taking the mantle of Moon Knight. I love that character.
You mean Hunter's Moon?
Yeah, Hunter's Moon. Sorry.
Harvest Moon is the fat one. He's the cook.
Yeah, he's cook. That right there, I think Jed MacKay and Marvel did that right. Yep. No one come in and just change the history of a character on the fly. They gave us a new character, and then they turn around and gave us a reason to care about that character.
Very organic storytelling, and that's the kind of thing I like. And that's one of the reasons Miles Morales really works.
Yep.
Where Jane Foster being Thor doesn't quite work for me.
Yeah.
One was like shoehorned in, and the other one grew in organically in the story. Just really good. Nick, dude, you're talking about you want Moon Knight back from the Age of Khonshu story. I get that.
Yeah,
I 100% get that. If you liked if you liked Moon Knight in that, you would like Jed MacKay's run on Moon Knight. It's spectacular.
And it does pick up right after Age. I mean, it's literally the first few issues you're dealing with the fallout from it because he's having to see a shrink. They're forcing him into it. The Avengers actually send Tigra to keep an eye on him.
And then Jed MacKay makes you care about Tigra.
Yeah, I never thought I would care about Tigra.
Who does he think he is?
I know. I'm sitting there thinking, no. Look,
while we're doing this, Jed MacKay. I know you've got some kind of search set up that tells you when people are using your name in vain online. Brother, you need to come on here and talk to us about some Moon Knight because we're dying here. We are loving what you are putting down. We are picking it up and we are digging it. Love to talk to you, man.
So honestly, I think it's kind of funny that and you've told me how to say his name. Pepose?
Pepose.
Yeah, Pepose. So Pepose has written a Moon Knight miniseries that fits right in with Jed MacKay's series.
It is like fist and glove is what it's.
Yeah, perfectly.
You can tell that they coordinated.
Yep. And now here's the thing about it. We're about to go from one Pepose book to one that we did not really truly get to talk about. And that is another Pepose book from 2 weeks ago The Devil That Wears My Face.
You know, I didn't even catch that was the same dude. Holy smokes, that explains a lot. That explains so much. Because I'm going to just tell you guys right now, The Devil That Wears My Face, we've got, I think, 3 or 4 copies left at the shop. You want a good Halloween scary book that will make you kind of go, I ain't sure I should be reading this because
Yep.
that ain't right. That is a good book. It'll put chills down your spine.
Oh my god, the end of it with the basic. And you
Show
know
people
what?
that cover again so they can see that cover.
Actually, I'm about to show you that cover again, and I'm going to see if you pick up what I just picked up on.
Well, I saw you
And
have some glimmer of recognition. What, the rosary beads?
Nope.
What?
It's a Birch book.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's a Birch book. You have to get that anyway.
It's a Birch book. Now
it's a Birch book, honey, and you know it don't matter anyway.
The whole premise of the book.
We need to record that.
Yeah,
it's a Birch book.
The whole premise of the book is he's like,
whoa, hang on now.
Oh,
what's happening, Mike? How you doing, sir?
What's going on, Mike? We are actually jumped back a couple of weeks to talk about some books that we hadn't talked about. And we're covering this one, The Devil That Wears My Face. It's a Mad Cave Studios book. And it's a Birch book, and it's also written by David Pepose.
And it's freaky.
Yeah, the gist of it is he is an exorcist at the Vatican. I took it as he's considered one of the best exorcists, if not the best. Well, there is a guy in Spain whose son is possessed, and he's actually, the demon that has possessed him has basically murdered the last 4 priests that they've sent there, 3 or 4. And they send him there, and the ultimate reason why they're sending him is pretty underhanded. They want they want to get in good with this guy simply because this guy is extremely wealthy, and he made off his money off of like silver mines. But the exorcist really doesn't care about that stuff. He goes in, he hears the story, he goes through the exorcism, all that good stuff. And then he's just kind of like, look, this is not your average demon. This is a lot worse. I need to go back to the Vatican and discuss it with my superiors. And the priest leaves to go back to the Vatican. But the guy that's possessed is left in an entirely different state. They think he's still possessed, and he is possessed. The problem is the devil that had possessed him had now jumped to the priest's body and put the priest's soul and mind into the other guy's body. It was a body switch. And the devil basically wears the
very literal title.
Yeah, it's extremely literal. Goes back to the Vatican, and there's nothing stopping him. He is completely and totally free, and it's got one humdinger of an ending.
Mike, you're dead on target. This has got a lot in common with The Pope's Exorcist, which was a surprisingly good movie, by the way. Have you seen it?
I still haven't seen it.
It's Russell Crowe, who is the preeminent exorcist in the Vatican, who has to go to Spain. And that's where a lot of the similarities end. But it's really good. There's some cool historical stuff that happens in that movie that I think you would just love from a storytelling perspective. From a horror perspective, it's much more psychological. There's certainly creepy, freaky, like crawling on the ceiling kind of weirdness, but it's much more psychological horror. And it's a freaky movie, but it's a very good movie. And this one has a lot in common with it, but this is more like, well, what if this didn't get wrapped up with a nice, neat bow at the end? What if it went worse?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
So I'm gonna have to check that out because I think with The Devil That Wears My Face, it went worse.
That's
We
what I'm
pretty much,
saying. The comic,
yeah,
it went worse.
it went a lot worse. That is, like Josh said, honestly, that is a great Halloween read. I mean, perfect
Fantastic.
for it. It's going to be generally Mad Cave is like 6 issues, so that's going to carry us through winter. It's going to be a really good Dark Winter's Night read.
Oh
Because
yeah.
yeah, for whatever reason, we always love horror movies more during the winter. This is going to be a really good winter story. I would not sleep on this one at all.
You
The
might not
last,
sleep after you read it either.
yeah, might not sleep after it. You might find yourself praying if you hadn't prayed in a while either. But the
Ominous
last
phosphorus,
book,
biscuits, post mortem ad tu contempore corporundum.
E Pluribus Unum,
My
the
father plays dominoes better than your father does.
so the last book, and I'm going to unembiggen myself so we can talk about this, is
Transformers,
Transformers number
robots
one.
in
Um,
disguise.
so I was a fan of the cartoon when I was a kid. Um,
How
I
Gen 1 does that feel?
yeah, I would. What really and truly sent this book over the edge for me was not the fact that they 86'd Bumblebee within the first few pages,
Which, spoiler
but
alert,
yeah, well, hey, look, if you haven't read it by now,
yeah,
but
it's hardly a spoiler because it happens so fast.
exactly. But here's the thing on it. It literally, um, I was not expecting it, but my favorite Transformer from when I was a kid showed up. I was not expecting Soundwave at all. I figured that Soundwave was probably a lesser Transformer that, you know, that,
Oh,
well, I figured that, he would have been a lesser one because everybody's going to want to see Bumblebee and Jazz and Optimus and Starscream and Megatron.
well, I think he set this up pretty clear that well, you're not going to be seeing Megatron.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he was pretty clear about that, or at least anytime soon. Um,
yeah, but you ain't going to be seeing Bumblebee.
yeah, definitely not going to be seeing
Uh,
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee, uh, he did.
Yeah, he was swatted.
You in danger, girl. Bumblebee is dead.
Yep. I love that Soundwave showed up. After reading the way they did Transformers 1, I feel like it is now completely and totally plausible to have this integrated G.I. Joe universe and why they never knew of each other. Um,
I got to tell you, I've enjoyed Void Rivals. The story's been really solid. It's been
yep.
fun. It's not necessarily a fun story, but it's been a fun read. It's had Transformers Easter eggs all over the place. What kind of comic book was that?
It wasn't. It was a key falling.
But it's had Transformers Easter eggs all over the place, and some of them aren't even Easter eggs. They're just like, here you go. This is big stuff. But then Transformers number one, what a read! I was never a real big Transformers fan. I was definitely more in the GI Joe camp, but
Yep.
I enjoyed the ever loving heck out of Transformers. I thought it was great. I thought the artwork was spectacular. Uh, it's got to be a pain in the butt to draw those robots, everything all squared off like that, the way that they are,
Yeah.
trying to show emotion with those faces and all. But he does a phenomenal job.
One thing that I definitely liked about it, and I like what Daniel Warren did, was, for I think just about everybody and their brother read Void Rivals. The Transformer that flies off in Void Rivals flies
Jetfire.
in Transformers number one.
Yep.
So I thought that was a cool way of tying them together.
So
I really did.
approximately how many years elapsed between those, assuming that he cannot travel at light speed?
Oh God, there's no telling. I definitely like
hey,
that.
hey, this is a town full of engineers and astrophysicists. We're going to need somebody to calculate that and get back to us so we
Really,
can update the Wikipedia page.
And there was, what was that other thing in there? For you Daniel Warren fans, yes, there was a suplex. It
Yes,
was
there
in
was.
there, and it was blatant. And for some reason, I giggled when I saw it.
I did the same thing. I was like, there it is.
Yep, we knew it was going to be in there somewhere. Let's just get this thing over with. What up, Tots? Hang on,
Hey,
Tots.
you guys.
Tots, I'm gonna need you with me on this. I need you to pick up The Devil That Wears My Face. I'm willing. You know what? If you don't love this book, I'll buy it from you. That's how convinced I am that you will enjoy this book.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Kyle. You're the man.
Hey, have a good one, Kyle. And since I've got the series out, Tots, Hunger and Dust 3, great. Mike Wazlowski, Madness 3.
So good.
You know you love it. You know
so
you love it.
good.
So that was just a brief little recap.
I feel good.
I do like that on Instagram we are getting some glimpses from Skybound's Instagram page of G.I. Joe and what all's fixing to happen. And the art on those books looks flipping amazing.
You know, I was hopeful that they would carry over with the artist that was doing it at IDW. I really liked his stuff. It grew on me. And this guy that's doing the art for Skybound is clearly an extremely different style of artist, but I am digging it. I am digging it. Well, don't you worry, Tots. We still got copies up at the shop if you didn't sign up for it. And I'm here to tell you that book is scary.
Yeah, it is. It's scary good on top of that.
Do not let Munchkin read that book.
Yeah, the other one, and to also answer, actually, I can kill two birds with one stone. Tots was, what was the other book? My internet glitched. And then
The Hunger in the Dusk.
Oh, The Hunger in the Dusk, and then The Madness. Basically, I thought you had picked up no, you were reading The Ribbon Queen. I'm sorry. The Madness is by the exact same company. It's written by J. Michael Straczynski. And basically what it is this woman has powers and she can only use one power at a time. She's not a hero. What she does is she basically is going to do the one last big score, one last job, so her and her fiance and his two kids can kind of live happily ever after. It goes all wrong. The U.S. government gets involved because they kind of need to keep this other country appeased, and they basically have the superheroes take her out. It doesn't work, but it ends up killing her family, and it's all one big massive revenge trip. And she takes revenge to a whole new level. In the second issue, she actually tracks down the scientists and the engineers that designed the bomb that was used on her family.
To that level.
Yeah, she's
and taking for people in Huntsville, where we're a largely aerospace and defense contractors. That I can see making folks around here maybe a smidge nervous. Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
If you will check out the pull list tomorrow, I do a really in-depth review on the Madness 3. Madness 3 blew me away. J. Michael Straczynski's writing on that was absolutely amazing. Some of the best stuff he's ever written, in my opinion.
And it's by turns. It's like horrifying to watch what happens, but it's also heartbreaking to watch what happens for totally different reasons.
Yep.
Really, really good.
Oh, good God. I'm just now seeing that text message from Nick.
I haven't.
Yep.
Anywho, we were talking G.I. Joe. We'll get back to G.I. Joe. 301 is coming out soon. Soon and very soon.
Is it
G.I.
November
Joe is
15th,
coming
right
out.
around there?
That is correct, sir. Yes, sir. You are correct, sir. G.I. Joe is coming out. We're less than a month away, and the excitement is palpable. It will be coming out right after a huge event that's going to be taking place at Haven Comics on November 10th and 11th. Tell people about that.
So, as far as I know, we are still on for 24 hours at Haven. We are going to try to do this thing to where we get some donations. We're going into the holiday season, and y'all know how we feel about feeding people. We are fat. We are Southerners. We got to make sure everybody eats. So,
We're big on that.
I'm sure that we will do some type of food drive. Maybe do some type of toy drive. Pick local charities. But I think as of right now, we will probably get started, say at the time the store closes Friday night,
6 o'clock,
and then
right?
we will go up until 6 o'clock Saturday night when the store closes. I'm sure there's going to be. I know that Dustin and Nick have never played D&D, and they want to do that. I'm sure that we will be going live multiple times. I want to do like just some stupid stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning to make people wonder, hey, do I really need to go up there at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Guaranteed, Tots. Bring
Yep.
it. And yes, 24 hours of what I'm sure will be lunacy mixed with a healthy dollop of stupid.
Yep, and there's going to be some cooking going on. There's going to be some cooking going on.
Yeah, we have guarantees about things that are going to be on the grill.
I mean, I'm talking Boston butt, Kaneka sausage. We're just going to see what all we can do.
I'm trying to get Justin Birch to come down here just so he can bring some of those pepperoni rolls.
Yeah, I would like to try some of those.
It will be Broughton.
Mm-hmm.
You spelled Brought wrong. And yes, that's true. Todd's got him some cooking too. I'm looking forward to this so bad.
Well, I mean,
this is going to be so dumb, and I'm so happy for it.
I mean, the four of us have still got to sit down and try to figure out exactly which charities we want to do stuff for.
We should probably do that pretty soon so we can actually start, putting the word out.
Yeah, and start getting that together. I mean, because once again, I mean, I'm sure that by Sunday night, one or all four of us are going to be complaining about how tired they are, or by Saturday night and their back's hurting and they feel like they need a shower and everything else. But
we ain't spring chickens anymore, man.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're going into the holiday season, and not everybody has it as fortunate as we do. And there are people out there that, they kind of need some help. And if we can do a little bit to kind of help them out around Thanksgiving and around Christmas, I mean, let's do it. I mean, it's not what I personally, it's not like it's some type of lock-in or anything. I promise you, if you show up at that store at 3:45 in the morning, that register will work. I promise you that I promise you, if you show up at 3:45 in the morning, you're probably going to get joked on by Nick and I. I mean,
every time a cash register rings at a comic book store, a comic book artist in heaven gets to create an extra new character.
Yeah, Nick's comic book fun. I mean, it's not going to be just the four of us. If y'all want to show up and hang out, show up and hang out. I mean, we'll be there. I mean,
the doors are going to be open.
Yeah, that open sign's going to be on for 24 hours also.
That's correct.
I mean, if
we're going to figure out some stupid sales too, like maybe not stupid sales, but sales for this thing or that thing, some highly specific stuff, and like that'll run from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. or something like that. We're working on some of that stuff too.
Or do something like from
you come in at 3:30 or 4 o'clock a.m. We're gonna be like, so sorry, you missed the 1 to 3 sale. You have to take the
say from midnight to 1 a.m. Since that's the witching hour. Any book that has anything to do with supernatural is so much % off.
There you go. It's Halloween month. It's all good.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can't find a ghost. I bet that store is haunted.
I bet we could find a ghost.
Nick said there's a ghost in the underbelly.
You know what? I may end up sleeping in that underbelly if it gets bad enough.
Hey, you fit. I couldn't get in
I'll
there
do
if I
it.
tried.
I'll do. There's a sturdy table in the back you could go sprawl out on.
It ain't that sturdy.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I trust Dustin, but I just don't think I trust Nick enough to fall asleep around him.
That's true. That's true. I'd wait till he falls asleep first. That's for sure.
If you show up at 5 a.m. to see if we're legit, call us first and we'll give y'all our Starbucks order.
That's right. We'll tell you what to bring from McDonald's.
Yeah, really.
Or Krispy Kreme. Hey, that hot sign will be on. Y'all bring some hot donuts.
Yeah, Nick said that he's been slowing down on drinking the coffee. Sorry, Nick. I'm bringing a coffee pot.
We're gonna have to do something because we're gonna be waiting.
Yep, and I mean, like I said, it's definitely going to be the four of us. We'll be up to our stupid shenanigans selves. There'll be a bunch of joking around. We'll have a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, it's to help out some folks at that time of the year.
Absolutely going to have some second breakfast. That's for sure.
You know what? We may be even having third breakfast. There ain't no telling.
Well, that Kaneka sausage is going to have to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, back to G.I. Joe. That was hey now.
He's going to draw one on my head.
There's a lot of room up there.
Yeah. It'll be a big one. Back to G.I. Joe.
It'd be a big one. That might be one of my favorite things ever. Oh, my Lord. So, yeah, G.I. Joe comes out number 301 in November. And then in December and January, the Cobra Commander and Duke books come out, which are the other continuity that ties into the Energon universe. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, number 301, carries on the Legacy series and is its own thing. And that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to be its own thing. If they want to create the second thing and have that going and tie it into this, I'm fine with it. But I like for G.I. Joe, the ongoing series, to be its own thing. I'm excited for that. But no, it's going to be good. What say we jump into previews and look at some of the upcoming independent books? We looked at the Marvel and DC books a couple weeks ago. But we have not looked at this month's independent books yet.
Before we do that, the Duke and Cobra Commander, those are only going to be 4-issue miniseries, aren't they?
Correct, but I think they're going to launch into something else.
Okay, gotcha.
I very much got that impression.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's jump into those independent books.
All right. Right out of the gate, it's the cover image on this month's previews, a book called Animal Pound by Tom King with art by Peter Gross. I'm honestly not sure how to feel about this one because it kind of freaks me out. It's when animals grow tired of being caged, killed, and sold off. It's only a matter of time before they've had enough. So it's an animal uprising that puts a Pound in control of the animals. So it becomes the animals against the world. This cover image, the dog is in a net of chain link and
that is wicked looking.
Barbed wire, and this almost like an X-ray of the keys. It's bizarre. I don't know. It's Tom King, so I have no doubt that it will be, kind of poignant and thoughtful, but it might also be where bad things happen to the animals, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. Unless that animal is Cujo, then let that dog alone. Next up, for all of you Something's Killing the Children fans, we have the Book of Butcher, which is the history of the House of Slaughter. Hang on, I'm getting a text here. Apparently, I'm talking very loudly, so sorry about that. Apologies. Anywho, um, this is with her going to New Orleans. So it's essentially elements of Something's Killing the Children, House of Slaughter, but set in New Orleans. For example, look at the super creepy crocodile or alligator.
You know, I completely and totally missed the boat on Something's Killing the Children, and I did pick up House of Slaughter and just could not get into it.
I kind of felt the same. So I feel like I did myself a disservice. I wish that I had gotten on it, but this one's coming out from Boom Studios. I should probably embiggen myself since I'm showing off stuff here. Uh, Stuff of Nightmares, Sleigh Ride. It's Santa Claus in front of a fire. You can see some rats in the foreground. One of the ornaments on the Christmas tree appears to be a shrunken head, maybe, and he's holding a bloody chainsaw. But it's written by R.L. Stine.
That's what I thought.
Rats. Bloody chainsaw. But that's an R.L. Stine book, so if you're a fan of Goosebumps, Ermagerd, Goosebumps, that may be a good one for you. See what other new books we got coming out.
So, no, sorry.
What?
I'm actually following along on Preview World's website, and I'm trying to, and I've actually caught where you are. There was one. It's called Under Heist. It's coming out by Boom Studios.
I must have missed that. How did I miss that? Because I remember seeing that name now that you said that.
Yeah, it's David. Looks like David and Maria Lapham.
Lapham. Yeah, there's no no M in there.
Yeah, what caught my attention about it was, it says after his gambling addiction brings David to the lowest point in his life and decimates his personal life, he'd do anything for one last chance of setting things right, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
There it is. Yes, it actually only flipped 2 pages.
Yeah, that might be interesting.
Yeah, I think I put us both down for that one.
Yeah, it says a supernatural horror twist perfect for the fans of Phantom Road and Newbern. The hit Stray Bullets creative team of David Maria Lapham explore how seeking atonement can lead people to do desperate and dangerous things. That just kind of sound a little intriguing.
It really does. I have to agree with you on that. Must agree. If you want to flash pictures up that aren't me showing terrible pictures from here, that'd be great.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm just scanning to see what kind of jumps out at me.
Well, scroll down to Dynamite and pull up Cruella de Vil #1.
All right, let's do this.
Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. Cruella, Cruella de Vil. Dynamite has got the license from Disney to do all these villain comics. And next one up, Cruella de Vil. I gotta say, she lends herself well to comics, just stylistically, artistically.
Yeah.
I think she lends herself more to comics than some of the other ones might. But that's a pretty good looking book. Gotta say.
Nick,
what do you think?
He said my name. I'm just saying his.
True.
Yeah, I like the Let me see if I can. It's not gonna let me do this. Let me do it this way. Stop screen. Let's go back. Present. Share screen. I think you're right. Stylistically, no, it's not gonna let me do it that way. She does lend herself very well to comics. If you look here, I'm trying to, where my cursor's going.
Yeah.
That's not going to help us any. Will you let me? No, it's not going to let me do that either. Okay, scratch that. I think you're right, but this particular issue right here with the dog tugging on her fur coat.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like the different renditions of her. And Justice Ducks. You know what? If y'all watch the pull list, I keep telling y'all we were headed toward Justice Ducks, and here it
I
is.
was just about to say, I gotta tell you, that feels so much like the cartoon.
It does. I mean, it
The
really does.
Darkwing Duck book feels so much like the cartoon. The pacing, everything about it just feels like the cartoon. And I got to tell you guys, I'm totally here for it. I'm digging it.
Now,
If
I
you want to
never.
scroll on down till we get to the legendary Red Sonja.
I thought I saw. I got Savage Red
Legendary Red
Sonja.
Sonja is Steampunk Red Sonja, which I would have told you that would not work based on the art we have available.
Yep.
That works surprisingly well.
Yep. It's this one, Racha. But honestly, he looks more like a pirate.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. She could be an air pirate with one of her airships. Don't try to limit her. She's Red Sonja. Nobody puts Red Sonja in the corner.
Nobody puts Red Sonja in the corner.
I bet that's true.
Hey,
Quick question for
Mike.
you. I guess it'll probably be tomorrow before you pick it up. But have you picked up Alice Cooper #1?
Yeah, actually, was that not in here? No,
You
that
didn't
was
talk
from
about it.
that was from 2 weeks ago. I talked about on the pull list. I liked Alice Cooper #1. There was a line in it by the Archangel Gabriel that I thought was kind of cool. Did you read it?
No.
The Archangel, basically, the nutshell version is the devil wants to put on concerts, and he puts on concerts at the Crossroads Bar and Grill in hell. And there's all these famous
Everybody
musicians.
come to my show, okay?
Yeah, there's all these famous musicians there, and I thought it was funny. Prince basically tells him, "Hey, look, this is all fine and good. You know they're going to clap for you here, but the real deal is getting the love and admiration of the people on earth." So he doesn't like competition. Naturally, he's the devil. He starts kidnapping all the lead singers of the world, except Alice Cooper is kind of, he's older and everything, and he starts having these visions, and the Archangel Gabriel comes to him, and basically, I thought it was really cool. He's like, you're different, you're unique, you're touched by the light and the dark. And, anybody that knows anything about Alice Cooper knows that, believe it or not, he is actually extremely religious.
Very.
So I thought that was just kind of a really cool touch in there. It was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I'm looking forward to reading the miniseries.
Yeah. All right. If you want to scroll down, way down to Titan, there's a book called Guma.
I mean, I need
I
to.
assume that's how you pronounce it. The beginning of her #1. It's a 7-issue limited series. It's about a young girl who escapes from a drug syndicate, and this would be, as far as I can tell, someplace in China, Asia, someplace maybe. It might be Mexico or something. I don't know, but I don't get that impression. I get the impression it's more like Afghanistan or something like that. Anyway, she escapes from a drug syndicate and discovers an ancient blade in a long abandoned temple. Using its power, she becomes the goddess of the city, controlling the cities through dark magic and fear. Uh, that sounds like a really interesting book.
And what was the name of it? I'm trying to find it.
Guma, Gumaa, from Titan Comics.
That's okay. We need to.
You know,
Sorry if
if
I'm.
you just go up to the search bar and search for specific books, it'll take you to it and you can embiggen the pictures.
Actually, I don't think it's StreamYard's gonna let me do that. But let's see
Okay.
if we can. As far as embiggening the pictures, GUMA, is that what you called it?
Gumaa. There it is.
Oh, right here it is.
Yeah.
Yep, right here it is. Let's. Bam! There we go. Figured it out. That is a wicked looking cover.
Yeah, it looks like a really interesting book. And it's a 7-issue limited series.
Oh wow.
What?
Bill Fisher just sent me something, and I need to pull it and show it to you right quick if you hadn't seen it.
I like the sound of that. That usually means it's G.I. Joe related.
Yes, it is, and this is has the potential to be kind of scary.
Now I'm nervous. Don't make me nervous, bro. The tension is palpable. While we're
G.I. Joe issue 302.
Oh yeah, no, I knew
out?
about. Yeah, there's a somebody dies in 301. Don't know who, but somebody dies in 301. Yeah.
Now, if you look,
it's Wade Collins.
Come on, get rid of the advertisement. I don't want to learn more. I want the X. We've got. I'm trying to get my cursor there. Obviously, Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
Obviously, Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Sean Collins.
That'd be my guess. And then you see Stalker. So if you think, what do those guys have in common? This has got to be somebody from back in the day.
Yeah. This is a pretty wicked looking cover too.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's been a long time since we've seen Stalker with the jetpack on. You know what I mean? That used to be a thing back in the day because they had those jetpacks and they weren't afraid to use them. But then they kind of decided they should get away from that, I guess, and they quit doing it. But it's nice to see that coming back a little bit. But tell me that book doesn't look and sound cool.
That Guma, that really does sound cool. Now,
now this one, search this one because this one's going to crack you up. Bill and Ted's Holidays, Holidaze. This cover is killing me.
Actually, it's not wanting me to do that.
Oh, Mike says he put Guma on his list. It didn't let you do Bill and Ted's Holidays?
No, it didn't. Let me go back to here.
Did you have the search bar?
Yeah, I was in the search title, so. Who's putting that one out?
Opus. Your boys at Opus?
They may not have. I mean, that you'd think that they would have Opus on their website if they got them listed there. Yeah, it's not giving me anything for it.
Go up to the search bar at the top of the page.
Um,
Just type in Bill. Just type in holidays. HOLIDAZE.
DAZE.
Yeah.
Pink Panther.
Well, that's just weird.
So,
All right. Because this cover. It's wild stallions and sombreros.
all right, I got it now.
I mean, y'all, that's just funny. I don't know if StreamYard will let you do it, but if you click on the picture, it usually gives you a much bigger picture. There you go. Not
Yeah.
much bigger, but bigger. Look at that. That's hysterical. I don't know what kind of song they're playing, but it's making me laugh.
They're playing Poco Yolo from Coco.
Be merry to each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now this next book is from Massive Publishing, and it's called. And tell me this doesn't take you right back to Sunday morning. It's called Washed in the Blood.
All right.
Number 1 of 3. And here's the description while he's looking it up. What if you were called upon by the worst god of all time? In a frozen post-apocalyptic wasteland called Freak Snow, a young cult survivor hears the voice of the self-proclaimed god of violence. Like any human would be, he is hypnotized by the prospect of power by listening to this divine freak. A path to salvation paved with love, turmoil, and mostly death. A tale inspired by Mad Max, Hellraiser, Fallout, and the filmography of David Cronenberg.
All right.
You're called upon by a terrible god, and you answer the call. 3-issue series called Washed in the Blood. I don't know, but interesting.
Yeah, there's this one cover that, yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not putting this cover on YouTube.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. That one is a little spicy. So that one's an interesting looking book that's coming up. There's another one, same from Massive Publishing, called Ozuna, Ozuna.
Yeah, I just passed that one just a minute ago.
It's a private detective in Puerto Rico. There's a human trafficking ring, and then a clandestine spy agency just trying to recruit this guy. That one looks interesting. The art looks particularly good.
Yep.
Gotta say, I dig that. That looks like a good read. And I have to say this one too. Not normally my thing. The Zenoscope books, I think they're pretty, but I don't know if they're worth reading. Cinderella, Princess of Death.
There was one that I started reading. And
I really wanted to like that Robin Hood book, but I didn't get very far with it.
This was like a 3-issue series, and I cannot think of the name of it, and I don't even know why, but I never was able to find issue 3. I mean, it was like it was almost like they never released it, and then it just showed up on eBay one day.
That's weird.
It was really strange. I'll have to go dig through. And what I read was pretty good. It was just a 3-issue series, so it's not like I was investing 100 years of my life.
But you should just look at the cover for that Cinderella Princess of whatever that was, Princess of Death or whatever. That was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
you said that was Xenoscope.
Yeah, Cinderella Princess of Death. It just amuses me. It's like if you take her normal outfit and turn it into a cheerleader outfit, and then she's standing there with a sword and like death with her giant sides is in the background looming. It's just so it's kind of like the same vibe as the original movie of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That is funny. A little spicy, but it's funny.
Just a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty good. The next one I think we should take a look at is from is that Dark Horse, and it is called Borealis #1, as in Aurora Borealis. You should look that one up because that looks good. And for anybody who's interested, it is written by Mark Verheiden, who's got a long comic book history, and by Aaron Douglas. And if you're going, Aaron Douglas, who is Aaron Douglas? That would be writer actor Aaron Douglas from Battlestar Galactica and Hemlock Grove. It's a bone chilling supernatural thriller. Winter nights last for months and temperatures can hit 70 below zero. Alcohol is illegal and something is emerging on the remote ice. Welcome to the isolated Kinu, Alaska, and a world of bad memories for State Trooper Sililuk Sil Asha. After
That
13 years away from Kinu, Sil is pulled back to investigate a series of brutal murders, only to face a dark past and her frightening connection to deadly legends. Tell me that doesn't look awesome.
that is a wicked looking cover.
I just thought that looked great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really, really, really digging that cover.
Uh huh. The way that they used the Aurora Borealis up there, the way that they used the foreground to kind of create the shape of a face, uh, and then the eyes, it works. It works really well. I dig it. Another one from Dark Horse is a book called Masterpiece. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Alex Maleev. And I got to tell you, back in the day, the team of Bendis and Maleev on Daredevil was phenomenal. Just really, really, really good. And it's an all new crime comic epic. So if you're a fan of Bendis, it should be a good story, and the artwork is going to be good because Alex Maleev always does a great job.
I accidentally Axstar.
It's about a brilliant 16-year-old girl who has paid for school with her next level inventions and is well known for her funny and honest web comics. Then one day, one of the most famous billionaires on the planet confronts her with the truth about her world. Um, she is the only daughter of two of the greatest, most charismatic master criminals of all time. There's a lot going on in that description. It's huge, but that one looks interesting to me.
There really is.
And I like Bendis pretty well. He kind of goes in hot and cold for me. It's like it's either I'm really digging his stuff or I'm really not. But that one looks like one I think I would dig, and I always like Alex Maleev's art, so that's a win-win for me. I'm putting myself down on the list for that. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. I'ma keep on scrolling till I find some good books. Rawhide. Have you looked at any of the Star Trek books from IDW at all?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know I'm going to ensure the wrath of a lot of people. I was never that big of a Star Trek fan. I mean, I like it. I could watch it, but as far as to read the comics, nah.
I used to not be a very big Star Trek fan, but then I went on a binge where I just watched every Star Trek I could get my hands on, and I loved it. I think one of the interesting things about Star Trek, um, the comics, or at least not necessarily interesting, but a great idea is they're doing a 4-issue weekly book in the month of October, um, and they're doing a Halloween story, and it's called Halloween because it all takes place on the holodeck.
Okay, that's cool.
And I thought that was really clever. Other things that are of interest: Valiant has not been good, at least not consistently good, for 30 years, pretty close to. I think maybe they finally realized this, and what they have done is they have said, you know what, we used to have some really good stuff. So check this out. A new hardcover of the old Eternal
Wow.
Warrior. Look at
Um,
that Barry Windsor Smith awesomeness.
I'm gonna.
I
There's a lot
loved
of
Eternal
people.
Warrior back in the day.
There's a lot of people that's not going to know what I'm talking about, and I'm telling you, do not go Google it. Um, you're going to know what I'm talking about because you've been around the block. I was absolutely shocked that the Faust comic got a hardcover treatment recently.
Not only did it get the hardcover treatment, that book is selling for like $170.
That has blown me away. I mean, yeah, I'm telling you right now, y'all do not go Google that book. Don't go looking it all up. And if you do, definitely don't do it at work. And don't even do it with your kids in the same county.
No,
It's
don't do
bad.
that. It's a rough book. It's a
But
rough
I
book.
was shocked that it got hardcover treatment and it's selling out everywhere after all these years.
It was a very low print run, that hardcover, and it was also had some printing issues, so it's very scarce, and people are dying to get their hands on it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because it originally came out in what, 92, 93, somewhere around there?
Yeah,
Maybe 94?
this is. I don't normally talk a lot about Archie here, but this is the Archie Christmas Spectacular, and I talk about Archie for a couple of reasons. The name of the creators there: script Tom DeFalco, art Stephen and Lily Butler.
Uh-huh.
If you guys like Archie at all, and you want to support folks like Tom DeFalco, who is the man, and folks like Stephen and Lily Butler, that's a good way to do it. They are selling, they're doing a lot of these specials for Archie right now. Stephen and Lily Butler are, and Tom DeFalco is writing a ton of them. So some
Oh, and
pretty good stuff.
I did notice on their website, and for those of you that are wanting to kind of check it out, what's on their website are solicitations for December.
Yeah.
And in December, we will have Aliens #2, which means #1 will be out in November next month.
Yep.
If y'all are wanting to check that out, pick up the November issue. It will be a #1, and it will be a 4 to 6 issue miniseries. And I know I'm saying his name wrong, and I will apologize 1,000 times for saying it. Shalvey, however you say his name. He's the writer for the series. It's Shalvey.
Oh, Shelby.
Shalvey, he's the writer for the series, and he is doing a amazing job with Aliens. So if you're wanting just to kind of check out a mini series, something that's got nothing to do with superheroes, a break from the norm, I would definitely grab Alien next month when #1 comes out and just see what you think.
This is not a comic, but it's something I think would be of particular interest to some of the folks in this town. It's a book called Planetary Expansion.
Oh, cool.
And Planetary Expansion is abandoning their lives on Earth. 1,000 hand selected passengers aboard a starship head to repopulate a new habitable planet in another solar system, um, where there exists a planet just like Earth with fresh air, clean water, and sustainable life. They will brave the dangers of space and push past the limit to get there. It's not like that's a story we've never heard before. But this one looks really, really interesting. So if that's your jam, if you dig that kind of thing, may well be worth picking up something like that.
Yeah, I'm scanning books now, and it seems like there's a ton of Frazetta books getting ready to come out.
Yeah, since Opus got the license to do his stuff, there's a lot, and a few other people are doing some Frazetta books too because they have some random licenses. You need to look up Blasphemous from Distillery. Now it's spelled blast and then famous, so not blasphemous, but blasphemous, and that's by Mirka and Dolfo. That's a new series, so it's. Let me see if I can get the book to bend the right way.
That's how I. Oh, that's not how I spelled it.
That's from Distillery. Distillery is one of these new publishers who, for their creators, if they get some stake in the company, some ownership of the company, and the better their stuff sells, the more stock they get, kind of a deal. So that's interesting. This is in a world where pop stars have ascended to divinity and the masses bow in veneration to a new generation of viral superstars. Angels and demons thrive on this exaltation and revel in the spotlight that grants them unimaginable power. And then the reigning queen of pop finds her throne shaken by a newcomer radiating with enigmatic charm. Blah blah blah. So it's a mix of the sacred and the profane on the stage of pop music. So I'm guessing that they intend this to be played by your favorite movie star, Taylor Swift.
No, she's playing Dazzler.
Okay, that works. I ain't even mad about it.
For those of y'all that don't know, I had to take Bug and her bestie to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie Saturday afternoon. Oh, like I said, for the other parents that have been stuck doing that, if you will watch the first 45 minutes of it and then start Disney's Haunted Mansion on Disney Plus, they will end at the exact same time.
I know we talked about this not too long ago. I think it was in a preview of previews, but it's a book coming out from Fair Square Comics, and it is Watson and Holmes, A Scandal in Harlem. And it's a take on Watson and Holmes that we don't get a whole lot of, if I'm honest. So that's all nothing but here. The image is on the other page. I got it. I'm not a complete idiot.
Is this it right here? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. It's what if Watson and Holmes were black and lived in Harlem or were in New York there? And that's a cool take on it. That's a different take on it. And I think Sherlock Holmes is one of those characters that, for whatever reason, really works in a lot of different venues, works in a lot of different skins, like the way you talk about a skin in a video game, but different color skin, different things. I think it really works, and I'm really interested in that. That's going to be a good book. Excited for that one. You may want to take a look at that one. If you like Sherlock Holmes stories at all and you want to see what it looks like in a fresh new setting, I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be good. Let's see. Getting to the end now. We're getting to the end now. Almost out of comics, and that makes me sad anyway. There's a book called Through Clouds of Smoke, Freud's Final Days. If you want to read about an aging Sigmund Freud reflecting upon the torments of age, lung cancer, and the rise of Nazism, there's a book for that. Who knew?
Oh,
Apparently he smoked so many cigars that he got lung cancer from it. I didn't know that. That's pretty horrible.
God, his throat. I mean, okay, I'm sure you've smoked a cigar before.
I have not.
Really, his throat had to have been torn up. You would have had to have smoked a ton of cigars a day to
Well,
end up with.
it said that some days he smoked as many as 20.
Jeez.
Now, tell me what you think about this, Alan. From Mad Cave Studios, so I know you're going to at least give it a shot.
I've seen that. And honestly, being from the South, it pissed me off the second I saw it. I definitely want to check it out. I mean, I'm definitely.
Daggum skeeters.
Mm-hmm.
Daggum skeeters. It's extraterrestrial mosquitoes descending on a sleepy beach town. Now, I will say this is another book from Mad Cave, and it looks pretty awesome. It's called Charred Remains.
Oh, that does look pretty good.
That looks pretty awesome. That's a little bit of a different art style for Mad Cave. A little bit more of what you see in a lot of other comic book kind of art styles. But I like it, and I think this will appeal to you. It's a dark entity made of fire, smoke, and ash called the Fireman.
I am all over that.
Yeah, I thought you might be.
I am definitely all over that. Let me go. Where's my search at? There's my search.
I think I probably already put you down on the list for it. Because you know how I am.
I know how you are.
If you guys want me to randomly sign you up for things that you think I would, if you trust my opinion and you think that I would recommend something you think you like, let me know. I'm happy to sign you up for stuff. There's a new Cullen Bunn book called Invasive coming out from Oni Press. Oni Press is kind of doing an about face, and they're getting some good creators and they're telling some interesting stories. Invasive, let me just give you guys a quick shout of what that is. Dr. Carrie Reynolds was a veteran trauma surgeon with a godlike mastery of muscle and bone, but outside the operating room, her rigidly ordered life spiraled into chaos when her daughter, a recovering plastic surgery addict, suddenly disappeared, only to mysteriously reemerge in a catatonic state with her vocal cords removed. The latest in a series of victims scarred by a battery of brazenly cruel medical procedures that have baffled police and left an alarming number of once ordinary citizens maimed, mutilated, or dead on arrival. It sounds very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm still sitting here looking at this cover of Charred Remains.
Doesn't that book look awesome?
Man, I cannot get over this cover. This is gorgeous. I mean, it's different. Yeah, it's definitely different from Mad Cave.
It's not. If you looked at it, you wouldn't think that was a Mad Cave book. You might think it was an AWA book.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing either way, but I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
If you're a big Frank Frazetta fan, they are putting out a hardcover book of Frank Frazetta's covers for like Eerie magazine and stuff like that. And if you're a big Frank Frazetta fan, that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. They also have a separate book of the fantastic paintings of Frazetta. Just beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Vault Comics has a new book called Lone that kind of looks like, I don't know, the art style. You remember that section in the movie Inside Out where they wandered into space that was like two-dimensional?
Yeah.
The art kind of looks like that.
Okay.
I don't know what to make of it. It's very strange, very strange. Well, I think we're here at the end, or close enough to the end. I don't think we're going to see much past that. Yeah, it's all manga from here on out, and I don't remember seeing any that jumped out and grabbed my attention as a new series we should talk about. Um, so yeah, if nothing else, I'm glad to have turned you on to Charred Remains because that book looks awesome.
Yeah. And I just ran across this. I need to share it. I know a couple of people will get a kick out of the way this actually looks. This is the solicitation for Ribbon Queen. I believe it's issue 4.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the covers for it, and it is a take on the original Friday the 13th
Oh,
cover.
nice. Yes.
That looks friggin' awesome.
That does look awesome. Well,
Yeah,
man, we are getting on a little late, and it's been a long couple of days. So, what say we wrap it up?
let's wrap it up.
Anything you want to tell folk about before we wrap it up?
Um,
Wrap it up with just like a Christmas present, put a bow on it.
no, I mean I think we've covered it. If like we talked about it earlier. If y'all are looking for a good Halloween read and good winter read, go grab The Devil That Wears My Face. That was a killer. I mean, no pun intended. That was a killer introductory issue. I do feel like I need to scream this since we didn't get to talk about it a whole lot last week. Go ahead and order that trade for Sins of the Salton Sea. I'm standing by what I said last week. In 40 years of reading comic books, I don't think I've ever seen a book in that way.
No.
That was the ending alone is worth reading the entire book.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Think of it like this. You accomplish your mission. The one thing that you're going to do, no matter what you do, but then you're faced with the next question, which is at what cost? And then it's instantly answered. I mean, brilliant.
Speaking of which, have you seen I think it's on Netflix, The Fall of the House of Usher?
No, I sure haven't.
You should watch it. It's 8 episodes. You should watch it.
I'm thinking, I mean, this is, totally off topic. I've put this off and put this off and put this off, and I just don't think that we're ever going to get legit fiber or broadband at the house, even though we're only a mile and a half away from where everybody's lines are terminated. I'm seriously considering just go ahead and dropping the money and getting Starlink so we can start watching stuff like that.
I thought you were going to say consider moving.
No.
That's it. I'm moving.
I love being in the country way too much, and not having fiber is just a small price I pay.
Have a great night, Mike. Always good to see you, brother. But
so
yeah, you should watch Fall of the House of Usher. It's chock full. I mean, it's a very modern story, but it is chock full of Edgar Allan Poe references, Nathaniel Hawthorne references, William Wadsworth Longfellow references, all set within this interesting world where something very interesting is happening. And Mark Hamill is in it.
Really?
And he plays a different character. I really thought you were going to discover something about him because his character is very mysterious. And you'll see how it goes, but you should watch it. It's 8 episodes, and it'll keep you watching.
I'll have to check it out.
See, and Mike agrees that it's good. You got 2 stamps of approval. What else do you need? All right, folks. Hope you guys have a great night. If you're watching tonight, if you're watching later after the fact, hey, we really appreciate it. We thank you. We're up to 538, 39 subscribers, something like that now.
539.
So, man, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. That's really awesome. Tell your friends, tell your buddies. If you love the show, tell them. If you hate the show, tell the people that you hate. Tell your enemies. It's okay. We'll take them too. We got room for everybody. But anyway, really appreciate it. You guys have a great night and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy reading some comics, and may your football team win, unless they're Tennessee this week, in which case, roll tide.